Hello everyone, welcome to our session on summer opportunities. It's our first session of 2024. So super excited for what we have next planned for all of you guys. To begin with, we'll start off with summer opportunities and volunteering services. Basically, the idea of the session is to give more insight on what type of summer opportunities you should be targeting and how they have an impact on your college admissions, and what right now, like they're in the middle of like applications, so deadlines are fast approaching. So if you haven't already, you should start taking action now. So we'll go ahead and get started. um so here is the agenda for today. We'll start off with volunteering in the college application. We'll define what it is, the impact that it has, and what to do about it. And then we'll talk about what is volunteering and summer programs and college programs. And then we'll talk about how these programs will impact your college application. And then we have a series of majors or backgrounds that we have programs that we found, and we'll go through all of them. And then to wrap it off, we'll talk about the importance of these programs, the pros and cons. Are they really worth them? And then, of course, to close it, we'll do the Q&A. So let's begin. Importance of volunteering in the college application. Um, well, launching has a huge portion in all of your applications, and wherever you apply, whether it be a CSU, a UC, or like through any of the IBs, privates, or out-of-state schools, you will have to talk about all of your activities that you have done, whether it could be extracurriculars, your launching services, and really anything you have done in terms of like extracurriculars. And there's like an entire activity list that you have to fill out. So there are multiple parts in the application process where you put out what extracurricular you did, how many hours you spent to it, and the importance of it on your list, if you got any awards, any recognition for it. Um, on top of that, uh, when you're answering your essays, generally, there are a lot of prompts that ask you, why does this major suit you? Or what have you done in this field that makes you want to go into this college? Or why is this college good for you? So these are some very like examples of college essays. And all these essays can be answered in terms of like, or this is just one way of doing it, but like, okay, I did this in high school and this was my extracurricular. And from this extracurricular, I learned so and so, and this is why I want to pursue this major. So extracurriculars have a really big impact on both your essays and your what's it called? Your college application in total. Okay, we can move on to the next question or next slide. Yeah. So launching the college application, this is continued. Um, we really recommend that you find launching services and summer opportunities that are meaningful to you. This is very important. Just because you see your friend doing a launching opportunity or they're helping someone out, that doesn't mean you need to go there as well. Um, I really recommend that you do volunteering, you do summer programs and summer opportunities in the field that you're trying to go into and the field that you are passionate about. Um, that being said, volunteering work does not always need to be related to your major, as long as you're passionate about it and you have a good story behind it. For example, I can talk about tennis. For me, I play tennis and I play competitive tennis and I enjoy the sport. However, my major is engineering, it's STEM based. So tennis has nothing to do with it. However, that's the only sport that I played in when I was young, and I got really good at it, and um, it's something that I can connect to with my family and my brother, and that's the story behind why it's an activity that I play. And then I can talk about in high school, I was on the team for 4 years. I was varsity. I was team captain for these last 2 years, and so all of that all comes into like an extracurricular activity that I did, which is not related to my major, but still very important to my lifestyle. And the idea behind the entire admissions process is honestly just to get how your personality is and how you can fit well into that college. So when they ask you for your activity list, they want to see how much work you have done in that particular background, see how well you fit in that college, and what's your personality like. What is other things you have done to support that, you know? And the second thing is try to be unique and include new factors about yourself, and make it different. Don't make it super generic. For example, like everyone volunteers at the library. That's not as unique as something like, um, I would say like for me, I would say volunteering at a tennis academy and coaching people. Uh, that was like volunteering that I did. So something a little different, something less generic, and try to make it unique towards you so that it makes you stand out a little bit. Okay, next slide is impact that they have on colleges. Now, I get there's a lot of content on here, but I'm going to summarize it quite a bit. When you are attending a college hosted summer program, that doesn't necessarily mean that you automatically get accepted into that college. Now, what do I mean by college hosted summer program? There are particular programs that are offered by colleges themselves. So Stanford has one, UCLA has one, UC Berkeley has one. All these colleges have their individual programs that you can apply to. And if you do get admitted into them, that doesn't mean that when you are applying in the admissions process, that you will automatically get an entrance into that school. However, it does have a significant impact in terms of showing the college that you've been interested in their school, been interested in their school programs, and it shows that you are you can demonstrate that academic achievements and the ability to succeed at the college level. Because these programs are highly competitive, just getting into them already shows the colleges that you're able to stand out compared to other applicants and you're able to deal and handle with college level courses. So why are these programs super useful? Because when you go to a program, I'll give an example. When you go to Cosmos, for example, you can go there, you can do research there, and you get the opportunity to talk to college admissions officers, professors, and all the other faculty, and all them together can be like put together and ask for advice for your own application. And they can start their essays there. They can get recommendation letters from these professors, admission officers, and they can also get basically a review of your application saying, what can I do to make this application better? Um, and they can practice admissions
Yes, someone
interviews.
may personal statement.
Okay. So there is a significant impact because although you start off that summer program with like a research on your own, perhaps after the program, if you are still in touch with the professor, you can maybe continue that research over the years. And you can maybe get a recommendation letter directly from that professor into the college to get you to get into that particular program. And that is very huge. On top of that, it does show your capability of handling these courses, and it makes you stand out from the rest of the applicants. The reason being, if you get into a program that's hosted by a college, there's bound to be thousands of applications, and it automatically shows that when you apply and you get accepted, that you have some sort of unique traits on you that separate you from others. So these programs are definitely a good way of figuring out what you need to do, what you don't need to do. Um, Now, like I said, you can further that research even after the program is complete. And throughout this program, you'll be able to connect with admission officers, professors, and alumni that will give you opportunities and they'll give you advice beyond the program. And that's very, very beneficial because let's say later down the years, you need advice on admissions process or a review on your essay or something. These professors will more than happily help you, knowing that you've done this program and that you were a good student in that program. And just in general, because you do something college related or a summer program like that, it tends to make you stand out because you're one of the selected applicants that have gotten into the program compared to the rest of the people that weren't able to make it. So that's a big plus point. So what counts as a volunteering opportunity? Um, well,
Okay. Oh,
Aditi can take over from here.
okay. So first we have to define what a volunteering opportunity is. So a basically volunteering is the to do something for other people or for an organization willingly or without being forced to or paid to do it. So that's like a wide array of opportunities, right? So people often mistake what volunteering opportunities are. So they don't have to be like super selective programs that you get into. And they could be as simple as like helping your household with like doing the dishes and stuff. Okay, so the difference between an internship and okay, the difference between summer opportunities and volunteering is that a summer opportunity is something like an internship. So an internship is something that you choose to do in order to develop your skills in a profession, and volunteering is something, it can also serve this purpose, but the driving force is your desire to help out. Okay. So, and they're also, volunteering opportunities are also viewed in the context of your opportunities, which we will get into in the next slide. So in this quote, it says, freshman applicants are evaluated using a comprehensive review process that considers all aspects of a student's application, including grades, test scores, completed coursework, and extracurricular activities within the context of their opportunities. So that's the last part, is like the really important part, within the context of their opportunities. So basically, the whole application process hinges on the fact of like that you maximize your opportunities in the context of your education. So, okay, an example would be if your school only offered 8 APs, but you took all 8 APs. So you did all you could possibly do to like grow your education or whatever. But if your school offered 23 APs and then you took only 8, that shows that like you weren't taking advantage of all your resources, which would be like bad in the eyes of college recruiters. So yeah, it really depends on your opportunities and how much you take advantage of them. So CS and engineering volunteering opportunities. So CS volunteering opportunities, and they're usually teaching or mentoring, but there's like a total variety of types. So you have to find which one is more specific to you and what you enjoy. So you can volunteer at local nonprofits or other organizations, volunteering at libraries to teach. So there's like a wide array of what you can do. You could volunteer at libraries to teach coding classes. You can make your own organization to do this. You can help underprivileged community members, or you can mentor at organizations like Girls Who Code or code.org. And a fun tip is that sometimes employers of relatives working at companies may give out special internships or opportunities, meaning that you could try to look out for these opportunities at the company. Sometimes they offer loads of them. Okay. Engineering volunteering opportunity. So there are a wide variety of different types of engineering volunteer opportunities that we've established, which is something we've established. But the most common is mechanical and electrical engineering. So internships at companies show that you have like knowledge and experience. So this is engineering for change is an example of one of these, but it might require some like prerequisites, but it's great to like apply for as many you can. So more about engineering for change. They head projects in sanitation, transportation, water, health, and many more. Once again, knowing someone in the company where you're trying to get an internship really helps, because that worker can try to provide you with opportunities that aren't generally heard of by the common public because you have like a contact. Okay, medical volunteering opportunities. Take it away.
Okay, so moving on to different medical volunteering opportunities, there's a lot of different ways to get experience in the medical field before you are in college. So there's a lot of things that high schoolers who are interested in taking pre-med courses in college can do to get experience. For example, a really common way to do that is volunteering at a hospital or health clinic. For example, the Regional Medical Center at San Jose and the Washington Hospital in Fremont have opportunities for high schoolers to get some clinical experience through that. And within this, you can do things like helping out at the front desk or doing some other tasks as well as shadowing, but you have to do cold email to get those shadowing opportunities. It is important to be aware that there are some age requirements for some of these things. So it's important to look at that first before you reach out to participate in one of those opportunities. Additionally, there are some medical internship programs that you can do, including the KP Launch and Indiana University Simon Cancer Center Summer Research Program. So participating in medical programs over the summer can show that you're interested and you have experience in the medical pathway, which will help you when you're applying to pre-med courses in college. So it's important to get that experience in if that's what you're planning on doing. And like we mentioned before, shadowing is another way to get clinical experience, as well as volunteering at a nursing home or homeless shelter. Moving on to, we're going to talk about some more medical volunteering opportunities on the next slide. Okay, so one thing that you can do is participating in the NSLC on medicine and healthcare. So that's the National Student Leadership Conference. And this one will give you a little bit more experience in medicine and healthcare. So you can apply to that if you're interested, as well as volunteering at specific nursing homes and homeless shelters like the Sunrise Senior Living Center. Moving on to law volunteering opportunities. You can do things like asking local law firms for internships, and this would be a really cool way to boost your application by having experience in the field. So law firms are encouraged by the state government to hire high schoolers. So it is encouraged that you do apply for these things if you're interested in pursuing law. And we do have a link on the slides, which we'll send out later. So if you're interested in looking at law firm internships, there are a couple on that link, as well as doing community service projects and showing leadership through those projects can show that you have the experience and the skill set that it takes to do well in a law program, which colleges like to see. Additionally, there are DOI pathways program on the next slide, which gives students a perspective into the inner workings of policymaking, especially in the government, which helps students understand what it's like to be in a career within law. So that will not only give you the experience that you need to understand if this is a career that you want to go into, it also gives you the skills that will help you do well in that career later on. And colleges want students who are already building towards their career or what they plan to do in the future. So this will be a really cool way to stand out for colleges. Additionally, paid internships like the ones that we mentioned before at local law firms. Many of those law firms might have programs that will pay you for the work that you do. Additionally, if you do well in these internships, this can lead to a full-time job, which also really stands out because it shows that you're doing well in that work setting, and colleges like to see the different skills that are necessary to do well in that. So if you're already demonstrating it, it does give you a better chance of getting in. After that, we're going to be talking about the National Student Leadership Conference's Law and Advocacy Program. So there was a similar one that we talked about in the medicine summer programs, and this again gives you experience in what it's like to be a lawyer. So not only do summer programs give you the skills needed if you are planning on pursuing that career later on, but it also gives you experience in that field to determine whether this is actually what you want to continue with for the rest of your life. So there's a lot of benefits that you can get by participating in these different programs based on the career that you want to pursue. Some things that you can do are simulate a trial, visit law schools, and get to interact with judges and other law officials, which is really cool exposure in the field. And you can definitely get a lot of important exposure to different things that you might want to include in your college application. So a lot of these experiences, not only can you write it on your application, but you can also use it for essays if they had a large impact on you. Additionally, it's important to know that these do have high tuitions, especially the NSLC's programs, but it is worth it if you're really interested in law and you believe that the experiences that these programs will provide you will be beneficial to you when you're applying for college. It's really important to look at what's in your budget before you apply to these programs. Moving on to business volunteering opportunities.
Yeah, so there's also a lot of business volunteering opportunities and summer programs. So one example is the Berkeley is a program at Berkeley. So in this program, there's in-depth involvement in making business plans and its process. They have two different sessions. One is from July 9th to 22nd, and the other is July 22nd to August 5th. These dates may vary as these were last year's. So the price of this is a little more steep, which is around $6,000. You also must have an essay requirement, and 2 teacher recommendations, a transcript, and they also may have a follow-up interview after you fill out your application. Another interesting program is LaunchX. So this is an online entrepreneurship summer program, and all high schoolers can apply. The program is fully virtual online, and it costs around $6,000. It's usually around the dates of July 3rd to August 4th. And something about this program is it provides students with resources necessary for starting their own businesses. So overall, when looking at summer programs, there's a lot of pros and cons. So a couple of pros are academic enrichment opportunities. For example, many summer programs focus on academic subjects, providing an opportunity to learn and explore topics beyond the regular school curriculum. There's also skill development. Some programs also offer opportunities to develop specific skills, such as in coding, leadership, or language proficiency. Participants also have the opportunity to meet like-minded peers who might share in some of their future goals or endeavors. A lot of the cons are associated with the financial burden and competitiveness of some of these programs, meaning a lot of them are much harder to get into. And another thing that could be a con for most summer programs are burnout. So participants putting in too much effort into the program and being overloaded with the academic courses, which can harm their overall well-being. So overall, in order to decide whether you should or should not do a summer program, it's up to the individual and how much they think they can handle. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is our YouTube channel. This is where the recording will be posted. On top of that, we have a bunch of shorter videos coming out very, very soon about more tips and tricks and advice on the admissions process. And this is out of date. Our next session, we will send out a message about that very, very soon. So please make sure to invite your friends and family. And we can get started with the Q&A. But right before we start the Q&A, I do want to point out there's one more opportunity that we ourselves are hosting, which is the recruitment for DreamBig for the upcoming 2024-20 season. And here is the link for it. If anyone is interested, we are looking for anyone that is from 7th grade all the way to a senior in high school. And these are all like we're looking for a few spots. And note that our applications are pretty competitive. We have a lot of people trying out, so we always tend to host interviews to figure out who is the best applicant. So that's another opportunity. If you're interested in learning more about the admissions process, your student, your child can try to join us and see if they can get on the team. Cool. We can transition towards the Q&A portion. There's a lot of questions that we put in the chat.